Everyone on X is suddenly running AI automations that claim to replace teams, run businesses while you sleep, or generate income with almost no effort. According to the posts, all you need is one prompt, one agent, and maybe a couple of integrations, and everything else just works. The screenshots look clean, the dashboards look impressive, and the engagement numbers make it feel believable. So instead of bookmarking another thread and never testing it, I decided to actually rebuild these claims from scratch. I chose 5 AI automation claims that have been circulating consistently. Not brand new hype, not obvious scams, but claims that look realistic enough that a smart person might actually try them. I used similar tools, similar prompts, and real-world constraints. I timed how long everything took, watched what broke, and paid attention to how much human work was still required. No sponsors, no cherry-picked demos, no pretending something works when it doesn't. By the end of this video, you'll know which automations are mostly fake, which ones technically work but aren't useful, and which one actually delivers real value. The first claim is one of the most popular ones online: an AI agent that supposedly replaces a social media manager. The claim is simple. One AI agent can research trending topics, write posts, schedule them across platforms, and reply to comments automatically using sentiment analysis. The screenshots usually show a neat dashboard with posts going out on autopilot and comments being handled automatically. I set this up exactly as described. One agent with a defined role, access to a language model, a content source, and a scheduling tool. On the surface, it worked. The agent could generate posts that were grammatically fine. It could roughly detect positive versus negative sentiment. But once I let it run, problems appeared immediately. Trending topics were often outdated or irrelevant. Scheduling failed frequently due to small formatting or permission issues that required manual fixes. Comment replies were generic and sometimes inappropriate because the agent lacked context. In several cases, the system got stuck retrying broken tasks in loops. Most importantly, managing the automation took more time than doing the job manually. You still had to review posts, monitor replies, and fix errors. Instead of replacing a social media manager, it replaced maybe 10 to 15% of the work while adding new problems. Technically possible does not mean practically useful. This automation looks good in screenshots, but it does not work in real conditions. The second claim shows up constantly in e-commerce circles: an AI automation that finds profitable products every day and sends them to you automatically. The promise is that it scrapes marketplaces, analyzes demand and competition, scores products, and delivers winners straight to your inbox. I built this using public marketplace data, scraping tools, and an analysis prompt. Data collection worked fine. Filtering worked. Basic pattern recognition worked. What did not work was profitability detection. The AI has no access to private sales data. It cannot accurately account for advertising costs. It does not understand logistics, supplier reliability, or real-world constraints. The products it surfaced were either saturated, low margin, or already declining. What this automation actually does is generate ideas, not businesses. Used carefully, it can speed up early research. Used blindly, it sends people into crowded markets. The third claim is more ambitious: a single AI agent that runs an entire content business. According to the posts, the agent writes scripts, edits videos, posts everywhere, and monetizes automatically. I let the system run one full cycle. It produced scripts that were structurally fine but lacked personality. The videos were technically acceptable but boring. Titles and visuals often didn't match. Monetization logic was generic and disconnected from the audience. The biggest issue was the lack of feedback. The AI had no understanding of what performed well and no way to adjust strategy. It produced content, but it could not build momentum. This type of automation creates output, not results. It may work for low-stakes filler content, but it fails completely at audience building and monetization. The fourth claim was more realistic. The promise was that an AI automation could do 80% of a $5,000 per month freelancer's job. I tested this in a narrow use case: research, and draft writing. The automation handled intake well. It generated first drafts quickly, summarized research accurately, and kept formatting consistent. For raw production, it was fast. Where it failed was judgment. It couldn't prioritize effectively. It didn't understand nuance. Revisions often made the work worse instead of better. In practice, it handled about 50 to 60% of the workload. That is still valuable. Used correctly, it acts as a multiplier, not a replacement. Then there was the fifth claim, and this one was different. It didn't promise income. It didn't promise replacement. It wasn't flashy. The claim was simply that a small automation could quietly remove friction from workflows and save hours every week. This automation focused on cleaning and structuring inputs. It took messy text, files, or data and standardized them before feeding them into other tools. And it worked. Because it didn't try to think. It didn't make decisions. It didn't pretend to be intelligent. It simply removed friction. In real use, this automation saved 1 to 2 hours per workflow. It reduced errors and made every other AI tool perform better. It wasn't exciting, but it was effective. After testing all 5 claims, the pattern is clear. Most AI automation claims fail because they assume perfect inputs, ignore edge cases, remove humans too early, and optimize for screenshots instead of outcomes. They try to replace judgment instead of supporting it. AI is good at transforming, summarizing, structuring, and accelerating work. It is bad at strategy, context, and responsibility. The automations that actually matter don't try to do everything. They do one boring thing well and compound over time. If you are building AI workflows, stop chasing total replacement. Build the boring systems. Input cleaning, research acceleration, draft generation, error reduction. Those are the automations that last. If this saved you time or money, subscribe. This channel exists to filter signal from noise, and there is a lot more noise coming.